Okay, so today we are doing something a little different.
Oh,
Yeah, we're going to trade in our usual stack of, articles and research for something a bit more, I don't know, visual.
okay.
Yeah, and we're calling this a deep dive into Island Escape. It's basically a collection of photo from, I think it's the South Pacific.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like a mental vacation for us exploring the photography of this stunning island.
I like it. No passport required, right?
Exactly. And, when you look at this collection, the first thing that really hits you is that, like, classic beach paradise vibe. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah,
Like
sure.
white sand beaches that just seem to go on forever and water so clear you could practically count the fish.
It's like the definition of paradise, right? But I think there's more to it than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like look a little closer. Notice how many of the photos play with the contrast of light and shadow. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Like the palm trees casting those long, almost like graphic lines on the sand, or the way the water shifts from that bright turquoise to a deeper, like moodier blue as the sun moves.
Huh. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that before.
It's subtle, but it adds a whole other dimension to the photos, I think.
It's like the photographer's trying to tell a story. Like, look beyond the postcard. There's more to see here.
Right. Exactly.
So speaking of stories, there's also a resort tucked away in all this natural beauty,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like a typical tourist trap at all.
You're right. It's actually really well integrated into the landscape.
I was going to say that. Well, they used a lot of natural materials, bamboo, batch, that kind of thing.
And they built around the existing rock formations,
It's almost as if the resort, like, grew organically out of the island itself.
which is probably no accident.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, it seems like they're really going for that eco-conscious tourism vibe.
Definitely. It's like luxurious, but in a way that respects the surroundings, you know?
Totally. And that carries through to the landscaping, too. Like, instead of just generic tropical plants, they used a lot of local flora.
Yes, like those vibrant hibiscus flowers, for
Those
example.
are gorgeous. I love those.
Yeah, they're really something. And they have a deeper meaning, too.
Really?
Oh, yeah. In a lot of Polynesian cultures, the hibiscus symbolizes feminism, beauty, and hospitality.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, by featuring them prominently, the resort is kind of subtly connecting itself to the island's cultural heritage.
That's so cool.
It's like a visual cue saying, hey, we're not just here to exploit the beauty, we're part of this place.
Yeah, and that also includes those classic palm trees loaded with coconuts. You can practically hear them falling and cracking open.
And that smell, right? Fresh coconut mixed with the salty air and maybe a hint of those tropical flowers.
Oh, stop. I'm getting hungry now.
It's like the photographer created a whole sensory experience just through these images.
Absolutely. Okay, before we get totally lost in the sensory daydreams, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. The sunsets.
Oh, yes, those are stunning.
I know, right? Fiery skies, palm trees silhouetted against the color, water reflecting everything like a mirror. It's incredible.
They really are breathtaking. And, I think there's a reason why the photographer chose to include so many sunset pictures.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. A sunset is a natural ending, a time for reflection.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it makes sense that